This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel Scum.
Scum Podcast. I'm Brock. This is James. We're here to talk about Star Wars. Boom. God bless. Virtual background.
I'm James. My virtual background, I was showing a picture of an action figure of Rey from Galaxy of Adventure because we're going to talk about Rey. I know. It's like it clears up. But if I don't have this, you'll see a toolbox. No one needs to see that. See my coffee mug? Oh, yeah. Yoda, nice. Best uncle.
Nice.
Been told that for a while now, Brock. It's not to it's just, I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging. But go on.
Oh, it's okay. I got my nieces on the video board at the Sky Dome, aka the Rogers Center. Stuck it.
Damn it!
To the point that they went to a Raptors game last week, and they're like, "When are we going to be on the video board?" And I didn't even think about it. They didn't message me. And I'm like, I could have made that happen.
As Brock can make a lot of things happen.
Yeah. James, have you watched Bad Batch yet?
Look, I'm gonna watch it when it's done. I've decided that I'm too far along. I've been watching. Actually, not gonna lie to you, I'm watching absolutely nothing at the moment.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't even have an excuse to be like, well, I've been watching. Like I saw the first episode of The Last of Us. I haven't even thought of the second one until I was trying to think of what I'm in the middle of watching now. I have seen quite a bit of Below Deck, but other than that, I really haven't watched anything, to be honest. Yeah. Like I said last week, like Erin doesn't watch the animated Star Wars stuff. She's too good for that stuff. She just doesn't. She's not interested in it. So like for me, it's I got to find time to do it. So I've decided, Brock, that I will binge it. But have you had a chance to watch it?
No, and that's why I bring it up because like I started watching it while laying in bed and fell completely asleep and wasn't mad about it because from what I do remember about it, it was like, oh, it's another episode that almost goes nowhere. I could be wrong, but it's just sort of like the squad is split and it's only like Crusher, what's the smart guy, and Omega on some like hijinks. I'm like, huh. So I don't know, like the story. I mean, the episode prior where it was mostly about Crosshair, I was like, that's pretty cool. So I don't know. I will watch all of it though.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I mean, how can you not watch it? It's more Star Wars anyway. I can't wait to. But the show's strange to me. Like I haven't seen any of this season at all. But I see because I go on the social media, I go on Twitter, and I mean, and Twitter's like the worst place to gauge anything. But I'm going to for this because we're a podcast, and I went on there and I see people like today, like Tuesday night, right? Like right now, they're like, "Who's ready for Bad Batch in 6 hours?" Who's ready? Bad Batch countdown, 2 hours. Come on, Bad Batch, who's excited? And then Wednesday, it's like radio silence on Bad Batch. Like maybe for like a half hour, people are like, whoa, Bad Batch. That was okay. Like there's not really much. And then it kind of disappears. And then Tuesday night again, it's like, who's ready for Bad Batch?
Yeah.
Like what happened? Like the show, it's strange. It's nice that we're getting more Star Wars, though. I'm not complaining about that. But it doesn't have that. I mean, also it's animated, so maybe that's part of it, but it doesn't have the appeal of Andor and I do have a question for you and for anybody listening right now in terms of this era that we're in, this somewhat prequel era where are people invested in the Bad Batch as much as they could be? I mean, I guess Andor would be the counterpoint to this, but because their fate can't be great after like their story almost can't go anywhere of significance. So do you think that might take away, and I could be wrong, maybe there is something of significance, maybe one of them is Snoke, we don't know, Tech. So I'm just thinking, like, what if like, could that be something that's taken away from some of it, as people are like, well, I mean, the story it's ultimately not going to go anywhere of significance in the Star Wars universe.
I think,
and I could be way off.
I think in regards to Bad Batch, they were smart where they just created totally new characters that we kind of had never met before. So like they can easily get around the fact like, well, you never hear about these characters in any other Star Wars content. So it's like, yeah, maybe you just end the series where they die or something like that. But it's just like,
won't happen.
Yeah. I'm reading like the new phase of High Republic books, and I will review them when I'm done because I want to read the first 3 like all at the same go, because like, you know, they try to intertwine and all. Mm-hmm. But like now that like the High Republic has moved to 100 years before whatever it is, before the first phase of High Republic, where it's totally new characters, and the only like real mention of anything you've heard before is like they talk about the Hutt cartel for like a hot second, and they mention Yoda. So it's just like you got totally new characters. And like the first book I read, which was actually a young reader's one, or maybe like young adult, it was actually really good. And it reminded me like you can tell a Star Wars story and not have any pre-existing characters, but it still has the same vibe, as long as like you can make I think the issue I have with new Star Wars content is the names are getting more and more complex, where I'm just like, I can't remember those names. Outside of that, though, it's the same idea. It's like there's an old guy or an old woman, and then a young person, and they're Jedis, and then there's like a pilot and some like quirky robots. It's like you can tell that story. And for, in my opinion, the first one, which is Quest for the Hidden Temple or something, was really, really cool. Like, and it's just sort of like, it has nothing to do with anything. And it's, like I said, it's young adult. So it's not going to be monumental to any changes in Star Wars, but it's still valid. So it's like, in regards to Bad Batch, it's like, as long as you can make the story fun, what's the problem? But like, yeah, you're right. It's sort of like, we can't really mingle with any pre-existing characters because they all sort of have a fate of some sort. But I mean, Tales of the Jedi shows that like you can return to it. I don't know. It's interesting. It is very interesting that like the last 6 months of content we've had all somewhat pertain to prequel. I mean, I guess if you throw Andor into the prequel era, like I think you can, but like it's like it is interesting. I never thought about it.
Yeah, it's like that era that they were shying away from for so long. They now have to fully embrace. And I put out a tweet yesterday on the Twitter saying like, Star Wars wasn't better when you were a kid. You just weren't a
aficionado.
Well, you weren't like an idiot yet. Like you weren't like, you weren't miserable in life. Like you haven't been pushed down because you think about Star Wars. You and I are original trilogy era babies. You're a little, I guess you're technically after, but you're an original trilogy baby.
Yeah.
But then there's the prequel babies. And so like, we're like the OG, man. And then the prequel babies are like, the prequels are the best. And now the sequel kids who are now, like if a 7-year-old saw The Force Awakens, they're now 14. Like that, or 15, almost 15. So like, they're going to be like, that's theirs. And so it's like, has Star Wars has never been, I think, what people think it is. It's like there's so many movies. Like, I liked Howard the Duck when I was a kid. There's a lot of movies that you watch when you're younger that are terrible. I mean, Star Wars is obviously very good. It was, but I'm just saying, like, you have nostalgic memories for these things, and that's where it lies. And you have, and that's why I think it's important to never disregard those, and which is why the Clone Wars was so important, and why these live action shows are getting there. Like Andor, for instance, it's not doing it, but it's bridging that gap between the prequels and the original trilogy. Like it's bringing, like, especially the Imperial side of it, where you're seeing it, and then you're seeing the uprising of the rebellion and what it actually means when Luke joins it. Because when Luke when Luke joins the rebellion, we don't know anything about it. Like, we've spent 40 years and we really, I mean, some books and stuff, but there's never been this darker side to it or anything. So it's great that they can do that, and you've got to embrace it all. And I think all the Star Wars we've been getting as of late have really done a good job in embracing the past, present, and the future.
It's true. I even thought of that during I was reading High Republic. They mentioned Rathars, and there was something else that's like a relative. Oh, Life Day. They mentioned Life Day, so like that's like a relatively new thing, even though it's been around forever.
Yeah, let's be honest. Life Day is Brit. Like, Life Day, as much as it's 40 years old, it's new.
But I like your metaphor there of like you like when you're younger, you don't know. It's sort of like it's like you have a fresh palate when you watch Star Wars for the first time. Doesn't matter when, but you'll never like. It's like when you watch those videos where kids try lemons for the first time and they shoot it in slow motion. We're like, or it's like, whoa! It's like it's like you're, or like they literally have kids videos of kids watching Star Wars for the first time and they're like, or like,
what?
Father, what? Like, it's just like,
I watched
you experienced that. Yeah, exactly.
I saw with my nieces and nephew, we watched The Rise of Skywalker together. I don't know if they had seen The Last Jedi. I know they've seen I don't know if they saw the prequels. They saw a bunch of Star Wars. They saw The Force Awakens for sure. I don't know about The Last Jedi, but we were like, it was when COVID first started. Before COVID was like COVID, but we were all kind of sent home. But like where I live, it's like whatever COVID. And so my niece and nephew just happened to be over like right then, like it was already planned and whatever. And Disney released the digital copy of Rise of Skywalker like 4 or 5 days early. If you remember, they were like, you get it today instead of like in 2 weeks or whatever. We're like, oh, cool. And I said, guys, let's watch Rise of Skywalker. And they had never seen it. And we're watching it. Yeah. And when Rey Palpatine was revealed, which is like, I mean, Daisy Ridley, we're going to talk about a little bit, talks about it. And people hate that reveal now and everything. But those two kids who were, what were they, 8, 9, and like 6, something like that. They were shell shocked and like their mouths dropped. There's a picture on our Instagram, on the Rebel Scum Instagram page, where they're like the moment where they saw the reveal. And I wasn't planning on taking a picture or a video. Otherwise, I might have taken a better picture and a video. But I just kind of noticed it out of the corner of my eye when it happened. I was like, oh, this is a moment. Like, this is something that they'll remember. And I think that as much as like the adults hated that, the next day, 2 days, they were outside grabbing sticks, playing lightsabers with the sticks. And, my niece was Rey Skywalker. And then she'd pretend every once in a while, because she's crazy, she'd be like, and she'd use like force lightning, because she could do that too. But it sparks the imagination. And just because you don't like it as an adult, I don't think you should wash it away. But I'm excited to see all those things with my daughter now. Like, I'm gonna shove lemon in her face right away. Fine. I'm gonna do that right now. I'll be right back.
But then let's talk. He's gone. He's back.
I just vanished.
Let's talk about Rey then, because there's been some rumblings on Daisy Ridley. Yeah,
so Daisy Ridley, I guess she's promoting a movie or something. And everyone keeps asking her if she's going to come back, and she hasn't ruled it out. And like a month or maybe end of last year, she was at Lucasfilm, and everybody speculated, oh, what's she doing? Because there was talk of this Damon Lindelof movie,
right?
Which hasn't been officially announced, which I kind of I'm okay with, whether it happens or not, whatever. At least it hasn't been officially announced.
Yeah,
that there was talk that movie was going to follow the sequels, and some sequel characters could appear. So there's a lot of talk that maybe Daisy Ridley. I think she's claiming now that she hasn't heard anything, but she did say like she's unemployed and she's looking for a job, so she would return. For me, I'm so that it doesn't sound like I'm bashing on the sequels necessarily. The prequels, I kind of also feel like Anakin should have become Darth Vader halfway through Attack of the Clones, but you don't know. Like, there's Anakin and Vader are two separate people in the minds of the Jedi at that time. Anyway, whatever. So the sequels, I still kind of wish in a way that Rey was kind of separate from the Skywalker saga, and she was on like Skywalker saga was like here or ended, and she's going on her own path, and we follow her. And I kind of hope that's where they go with episode 10, let's call it, for sake. I mean, if it takes place after the sequels and any character from the sequels are in it, it's episode 10, whether they want to admit it or not. I'm fine with that. I'm like, bring her in, even if she's a minor role, even if she shows up, is like, hey, I'm Rey. Let's use the Force. Ciao. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I don't mind. It is. I was thinking about this recently. Isn't it funny how like Star Wars just is unforgiving on its cast? Like, there's always like maybe one person that does really, really well. You know, like it's like, I guess in the originals, like it's Harrison Ford, and then the prequels, it's kind of more Natalie Portman than anybody else, and then like in the sequels, it's Oscar Isaac, but it's like all these other actors are brilliant. So like, why are they not selling? Like, I think it's easier for the actors today per se, because like I feel like Daisy Ridley got in a bunch of big pictures right after Star Wars, but then like, where is oh god, what's Finn's name? His real name?
John Boyega.
John Boyega. Like, where is he? Like, he's a fantastic actor. I've seen him in a lot of things, but like, why isn't he? I mean, I guess he was in Warrior Queen, right? Attack the Block 2. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like he was in Star Wars. He was the face of Star Wars.
They're working
arguably. They're like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know, where did he go? Like, maybe he took a break. Maybe it is a lot to deal with Star Wars in general, but like, and you know, he's not gone from the like
Daisy
public
Ridley
eye, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Daisy Ridley and Kelly McTran had to leave social media when they were in Star Wars. That's the thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, when people are like, "I can't wait for the Rian Johnson show." First of all, I think half those people are saying that are full of crap. But I think like Rian Johnson, God bless the man. If I were him, I would not want to come back to Star Wars, because why? Yeah. Why would you want to come back to this toxicity? Like, I just don't get it. He has got a really good thing going on with Knives Out. He's making more money than he could ever imagine with that franchise, on top of having fun with it. Yeah. Why would you want to come back to this and have dumbass YouTubers like us bitching about it? Not that we did. We actually liked the movie, but you know, like why would you want to like, just don't, I mean, you know, you love Star Wars, but I had, you know, there was a report going around before that said a lot of like big time filmmakers didn't want to touch Star Wars because it was so toxic. And it's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but it's just like,
I got some variety.
Just make it like, it's like James Gunn got fired for something, and now he's in charge of DC, DC EU or DC film universe. Like, it's like, I get it, it sucks, but at the same note, it's like, who cares? Like, though I guess you have to tread carefully, because like the internet basically reanimated the Sonic movie, you know. So there's so many things. It's like, and it is a weird thing. Yeah,
which I think I jokingly said to you is like, that's the one time studios should have listened to the audience. Like, the only time that studio interference show. But I was thinking too, and this is nothing I normally like to talk about, but because it's kind of a negative on everything. But I felt like in The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams right away was like we're doing movies that are better than the prequels, because the first line is, "This will make things right." You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like, oh, no prequels. And then The Last Jedi comes, and people are complaining about the retconning that happens in The Rise of Skywalker to The Last Jedi, which I still don't really feel there's retconning, but I kind of am wondering if his mentality was the same. If he went in there being like, let's take what people didn't like about The Last Jedi and flip it. But I also can't remember how far along they were in script writing by the time The Last Jedi came out. So that could be off, but it's kind of strange that he went the same way. Anyway, it can lead into my Daisy Ridley thing here on Variety.com. And so they asked her about, it's a Rolling Stone interview that I'm reading on Variety, because internet. So people loved, I mean, we did our ranking Star Wars, and we had Desi on. She loved the Rey Nobody on there, and a lot of people loved the Rey Nobody, and they asked her about that. And I think this is one of those things. Rolling Stone could be kind of a dickhead magazine. Sorry for the language, but they can, where they try to like poke the bear with it a little bit. Like, they left Celine Dion off their best singers of all time or something. Like, they know what they're doing. So anyway, they're trying to poke the bear on, and if she was disappointed on Rey being somebody, and this is so we always heard that JJ and Rian Johnson were on the same page about where Rey came from, and I kind of said I think like a week ago because my timing is awful that I didn't believe them, and now so this quote might solidify that was actually a true statement. Well, JJ Abrams was the one who was like, she is of no one, so it wasn't just The Last Jedi where that was the message. Ridley said. What was interesting about the last one for me was that you can be a hero and not come from anywhere, or you can be a hero and come from literally the world and the universe. You're not your parents, you're not your grandparents, you're not your bloodline, and you're not the generations before you. So I was always like, sure, but it is beyond my pay grade, which is the part that everybody's clinging to, where she said that. And she says, I say the words do the thing. I do love the version of you can be anyone you want to be, but I also love the version where you can rectify the wrongs and help the world you're born into. So I actually, that's how I kind of felt about it too. I was never, I mean, the Rey nobody for me didn't work in the Skywalker saga, quote unquote, because it's, anyway, like they handcuff themselves with that stupid name, but like the Rey for nobody works on a lot of levels. But I also think what you're saying about you come from the worst person on the planet, in the galaxy of all time, you know, that might even be more powerful than coming from nothing.
Yeah, I'm all for not like replicating the first movie. Like it's like, yeah, I get it. We've set up this whole Skywalker saga where it's like the chosen one and all that jazz, and it's like, yeah, well, what would that mean? Like if Luke is the chosen one, because like, or not, Luke isn't the chosen one, Anakin's the chosen one, but it's like, it seems like the prophecy is like he destroys the Jedi Order and then his son rebuilds it to an extent. That was the vibe we always got, even prior to the prequels. Sort of like, I mean, I guess the prequels pushed it a lot more because they called him the chosen one more often. But it's just like,
a lot more.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it made sense. Like, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, it's not one person, it's the person's legacy. So it's like, oh, could we keep going forward? But like, I never really understood the argument, because it's like on who screwed this up. It's like JJ put in the idea that like the New Republic fell apart, that Luke went into hiding, Han and Leia, their marriage didn't work, and their son is like the new villain. I feel like that should have been dived into more. I think that would have made a lot more things valid. Like, it's like, why can't it be, like I said last week, it's like, why can't Rey just be Aladdin? It's just a person in the right place at the right time, like Luke. Like, it's like Luke is in the right place at the right time, you know? Like, I mean, granted, we now know that Obi-Wan is there for him, but like, it's like,
yeah,
you know,
but
I mean? Like,
that's retconning.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. It's, yeah. But anyways, going back to the Rey question, it's like, Daisy Ridley back? Sure, great. That would be great, because you want to know what we all want, and I just said it like twice, I think, in that sentence. We just want more content. We want to know more. We want to like
I think. No, watching the Lego Star Wars like holiday special, especially the what was the first one? The Halloween or the holiday? Holiday? Whatever. The first Lego special.
Yeah.
Not the summer one. I think it was the first one. But it was the first. The Christmas one. That one, when that one started, was going and Rey was training Finn, which is something I don't even care about. Like I was fine with Finn not having the Force. Like I was like, he's Han Solo. Yeah. Let's deal. But whatever. And I remember watching that, and it's a Lego, and I was like, yeah, you know, I would be down for way more adventures with these people. Like, you know, with these characters. Like, I really enjoy the characters, and even if they're a small role going forward, like their storyline is done, moving on. I'm all for that. I think I'm also, but you have to acknowledge what happens. I think that's the big thing. And I know Fantasia right off the bat with The Force Awakens felt like Rey was going to be a Palpatine. And he was very disappointed by the reveal of her being a Palpatine, because he kind of wanted the movies to deal with it more. And I think that might even be the flaw of Star Wars as a whole, though, is we get these twists, and there's really not much to them. Like, Luke finds out Vader's his father, and he's kind of bummed for like a half an hour. Like, he's like, oh, is he really my father? Okay, well, I'm going to go turn him good. Like, there's no, I mean, there's a little bit more conflict with with him turning bad at the end, but I don't think anyone ever really felt he was going to turn. Like he was the hero, and Rey being a Palpatine's kind of the same. But I kind of like the idea that she's a no one. Then she comes to the conclusion that she is a nobody, and she has no place in that story, and then she finds out she's not just a nobody, but she serves a massive point of this story to the most horrible person of this story. But because of her journey and because she's a no one, that's really what it is. Because she was a no one and she is a no one, she can rectify all the wrongs that her bloodline did. I think that is a good story, and that's what I'm pushing in my new book, The Bloodline of Rey.
Yeah, I mean, let's not be naive. In like 20 years, if they're like, how do we get people excited? And you throw like a Daisy Ridley and John Boyega and Oscar Isaac in a movie, like it'll sell. Like
it'll sell next week.
Like Night Court is a show again. Like anything is possible.
But that's also to the point of why handcuff yourself with the Skywalker Saga title, and why handcuff yourself to it has to be a trilogy. Like, why not just let these movies live and just, I'm not saying that has to be every other year like they were doing, or every 3 years like Lucas was doing, but like just let them thrive, man. Let them do maybe don't do episode 10, maybe do episode 20, and then you can go back and you have 10 years to fill out when the next Jon Favreau and Filoni come up, and they can make movies instead of shows or something. Like just they have fun with it. That's what Star Wars is all about. That's what they've done so well. Like Lucas made a movie, then he's like, actually, that's the second one. Actually, it's the fourth one. And you're like, what the heck is going on? Like,
it's almost like the Disney era Lucasfilm is like, well, George didn't ever really know what was going on, so we'll never know what's going on. Like it's okay, we can go back and fix it. Like it is kind of a magical thing that Star Wars does pretty well, but it's just like the amount of times George Lucas redid his first 3 movies, like it's just like, I know he doesn't change the movie, but he adds those little things, and like it's just like it's a constant work in progress. It's like the highway in your hometown where it's like, well, we got construction again. We just had it 6 months ago, but whatever. We still keep driving on it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's basically what Star Wars is.
But like, to talk about the character, like, I mean, that last scene where Rey walks into the twin sons on Tatooine with BB-8, I'm like, show me where she goes. I want to know. It says a lot about a movie. So I don't know. I'm all for it. There was a lot of cool things that just like, I think it's like I think viewers like a good story, but they also like something that like makes sense, where it's just like this and then this, and you're like, oh, that means that was like something back to there. It doesn't have to be like hugely revealing, but I think we all enjoy immersive and chunky storylines, or just universes, right? Universes. Like, this is why people love Marvel. They love Harry Potter. They love so many things. Like
Marvel, Harry Potter, and streaming have changed, and not just Harry. There's more than that, obviously, but like those, especially Marvel and streaming, they've changed the way we watch anything. Yeah, because now everybody wants everything. Like you mentioned DC earlier, so Black Adam is now no longer a thing, so people won't go. Like the Flash, I'm really curious to see how the Flash does. I feel like Shazam's not going to be part of it, but they can't say anything, because if they're like, well, Shazam doesn't take place in the universe, people will be like, well, then I'm not interested. But you love the first one, but I'm not interested anymore because it's not part of this. It's like, why can't you just like a movie? We just, for some reason, we're not wired like that anymore. It's like, it's got to be part of this bigger epic scale. Otherwise, we just, for some reason, are not into it. And I don't like, and I honestly, I'm not even joking. I think Shazam is out of the DC movies, but they're not going to say anything until after the movie comes out. Because if they do, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Like the Flash, I don't even like. That movie could be really, it's supposed to be really good. Michael Keaton as Batman. There's so much going for it. But are people going to be like, no, I don't care. Like, after this, there's nothing. Like, the mentality of the fan base is like that. And I think the next Star Wars movie has to be cognizant of this is part of a greater epic, which I think the Star Wars movies, now that there's TV, should be part of this bigger, grander, epic adventure.
But like so many of the Disney Plus things and the books prove that like you can tell a story in this universe and it doesn't have to have Luke or Vader or Rey or Kylo Ren. Like you can have characters that are almost identical to them because end of the day, Star Wars pertains around the Force. So there's good guys and there's bad guys. They can either be wizards or they can just be regular guys in black suits. I don't know. It's so easy to do. And like this first High Republic book I read, there's a couple Jedis, but this is like they're still like figuring out hyperspace lanes, which I know they already talked about hyperspace lanes in the first phase, but it's just like this is literally like they went on an adventure in a planet that doesn't have any connection to the inner rim, whatever it is, Coruscant's in the center of the galaxy. So it's just like it's literally like they're cowboys. So it's like you can easily just make a film like that. I mean, or even Visions. Visions like let's do this, but with the anime spin to this. But like there's one series where it's just about like what if like Star Wars were samurais. Like yeah, it worked, it was interesting. So it's like it doesn't make sense. All I know is I want Mandalorian right now, and it's still like amazing to me that it's only 2 months away.
Not even, it's like a month and like a couple of weeks away.
Because what is it? March
February short. March 1st.
March 1st. Yeah, exactly.
And February short. Thank you, February.
I had March 30th in my head for some reason. I can't remember. Whatever.
I don't know.
Still,
I'm sure it'll get delayed anyway. Do you want to see something but not see something? Check it out. Oh, you could see it slow. That's weird. That is so weird. But if I cover me, it's like you don't.
Yeah, for perfect.
Oh, that's Snoke. I got him for $2.50 or $5.
Nice.
Snoke. Whatever. Daisy Ridley, please come back to Star Wars and bring her with you as well. She's in the new indie drama Sometimes I Think About Dying. That's a freaking title. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if it's good. Sometimes I Think About Dying. It's at Sundance right now. Oh yeah, it's Sundance. Oscar nominations today, Brock. Did you see them? Yeah. John Williams got nominated.
Nice.
I went on the Twitter, John Williams nominated, and I also saw that. Oh my gosh! I just Googled Sometimes I Think About Dying, and to Google's credit, the first thing that comes up is help is available. Speak with someone today, and there's a suicide prevention number.
Yeah, of course.
So that's because wasn't even thinking that it would be more serious than a movie. Okay, there we go. Sundance. I'm gonna check it out after. That was good on Google. Good on Google for that. Now they're gonna think that now my analytics are all off. My algorithm's gonna. Are you so okay? Screwed. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, Daisy Ridley, Star Wars, good times. Yeah. Let them roll. All right, the odds.
Let's do it.
Hold your pants. There we go.
Navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Sir.
Never tell me the odds. Brought to you by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do, why don't you help us out by supporting us? Go on down there and put your well-earned dollars on this podcast about Star Wars, because there's no other podcast about Star Wars, just us. And you could.
There's very few.
There's very few. You can be one of the many that support us because they think we're great. And I still don't understand it, but here we go. Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Staniforth, Rez, Scott D, Josh Price,
Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Dale Erdman, Girls with Sabers, and Benjamin Nerds.
Thank you so much to all of them.
Yeah, Fantasia couldn't join us today because
good.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, hey, go play your Marvel United game. Go play Marvel United.
Yeah. What's our odds today, Mr. James?
By the way, the new Daisy Ridley movie is 91 minutes long. 100%
Wow.
It's some news. 91
Hour and
minutes
a
long.
half.
That's how long. If Avatar was 91 minutes long, I
Yeah.
might have watched the second one. By the way, $2 billion. No one's seen it
yeah.
multiple times. Nominated for Best Picture, 4 Academy Awards nominations for Avatar. And Top Gun 2 was nominated for Best Picture, which tells me one thing, Brock. They want them ratings.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're telling you, thank you to all of our Patreon. Skeleton Crew will feature a young Phasma. Will we see a young Captain Phasma in Skeleton Crew? By young, I mean like Sindel.
Yeah. This is a great idea. Though I know there's a comic book about Phasma. It's like I don't feel like we know her full history, so it's like if she's super young, but I love it. So I'm gonna go 70%. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna go 91% because it should happen. Because I shouldn't say it should happen. I have no idea what Skeleton Crew is about.
Have they even selling
No.
Skeleton Crew
It's
in a
Jude Law
time?
and kids. It's supposed to be like an Amblin Entertainment, like a Goonies in Star Wars. I think is what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it was Phasma, I mean, it probably wouldn't make sense. But who cares? John Watts, do it. Next out, Ahsoka and wow, that's a typo. Ahsoka will recruit a character from The Mandalorian to join a hunt for Thrawn. A character on The Mandalorian show will join Ahsoka, venture into the Ahsoka series, and search for Thrawn.
I think it's fairly high since it's supposed to exist in that Mando universe. I'm gonna go. I don't know who, but I'm gonna go 75%. Oh, could you imagine if this is how they introduce, or I guess it would have to be introduced in Mandalorian, Hondo Anaka into the live action? Like, that'd be perfect. just put him in one episode, so then you can make him a series regular in Ahsoka.
I'm a little surprised we haven't got him yet.
Yeah.
Like in everything we've gotten, there's been opportunities where you're like, that could be I'm not saying while I'm watching it, I'm disappointed. It's just you look back, you're like, that could have been Hondo. So Hondo's got to be coming, man. You bring Cad Bane in and you don't bring Hondo. Hondo is at the theme park. You've seen Hondo in person. Like Hondo is there. My sister now knows who Hondo is. She's never seen a Clone Wars or a Rebels, and she knows who Hondo is probably better than I do. I'm gonna go 77.98%. Do it. And our final odd today: Biston and/or Pow will appear in Andor season 2. We're gonna see Biston or Pow.
95%. I mean, it'd be stupid not to. Like, you probably have the costume somewhere. Like, just throw them in the back. It doesn't have to be any character. It'd be cool to give them more stuff, but it's like, you gotta. Like, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go 67.39%. I mean, we did see Saw's gang, so the closer we get to Rogue One in time, the closer these characters got to show up, right? Because Pow is I think Andor says Pow's name to him. Like, they have some kind of history. So who knows? All right, those are our odds. Let us know what your odds are in the comments below or in the live chat. Brock, you ready for the news?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hollow news.
Hollow news, the news you need to know right now. Ewan McGregor stated that he is hopeful for more seasons of Obi-Wan Kenobi as he reflects on how the series allowed him to work with old friends and explore his character's place in the framework of Star Wars. Talking during a digital press tour to campaign to get the show recognized at upcoming awards ceremonies, McGregor had the following to say when he asked about the possibility of a future season to Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was so happy to do it again, so happy to work with Hayden Christensen again, and I hope we get the chance to do it again. As it stands, Obi-Wan Kenobi did well for Disney+, and there have been rumors that Lucasfilm may do a follow-up to the series at some point. However, there has been no official word about whether or not the series will be renewed or get some kind of spin-off. With any luck, Lucasfilm will announce new projects in the months ahead, possibly as soon as Star Wars Celebration Europe 2023 this March. In Acolyte news, while speaking with comicbook.com, Amanda Stenberg, who is one of the main characters, teased practical sets and creatures on the set of The Acolyte. The actor admitted that she was in awe of the technical ability on display when she finally arrived on set. She was amazed at the effort and collaboration required to complete a production of this magnitude. Although Stenberg described the work of many talented artists, and designers, the Acolyte will still use stagecraft's on-set virtual production visual effects technology, the Volume. Read what Stenberg has said about what you were talking about. What can I say that won't get me fired? Walking onto set, I'll just say this. This is vague enough. You know that it must take a lot of technical ability and craftsmanship to make Star Wars, but you have no clue how expansive it is until you're part of it. Whether it's the puppeteers or the costume designers or all the folks from the different departments who build the sets, you don't realize how much incredible technology and foresight there is in every element until you're there. And in very big news for anyone that's going to Celebration here, the first wave of guests has been announced. The following are for sure celebrities showing up to Star Wars Celebration, being Anthony Daniels, Ashley Eckstein, Matt Lancer, D. Bradley Baker, Giancarlo Esposito, and from Obi-Wan, Vivian Lyra Blair, and Indira Varma. So that's pretty good for the first wave of guests. Maybe we'll get Mark Hamill. I don't know. And this has been your Hollow News.
Mark Hamill. Does he have like? I mean, it's always nice to have Mark Hamill, but he's retired. He's like, you know what? I'm not in Star Wars anymore. Although he's in more Star Wars now than he's actually appeared in more Star Wars on Disney Plus than he did, I think, in the entirety of the sequels.
I would love to go to Celebration again, of course, because we love Star Wars. But like after I finished Willow, and man, what a series! What a series! So like, it's even more. I want to see Warwick Davis in person again. You're like, oh, that's the guy.
He came really close to you when you
came really close. Big hands.
Top five.
Top five.
Top five Rey moments. We're talking about Rey. Let's do top five Rey moments. Rey's fun. Rey was a great character. Rey, was not included in the Force Awakens Monopoly when it first came out, Brock. And Aaron bought me that Monopoly. And I looked at it and I said, this is very strange. There was Kylo, Vader, Luke, and who is it? And Finn. Strange choices, I thought. I was like, there's no females, which was weird. Like you could put Leia in there.
Yeah.
You could put Rey, and then I was like, oh, they don't want you to know Rey is a Jedi. Well, then you put Rey with her staff, and it would have made sense. But then Hasbro mailed out the Rey figure, so now I have a Rey figure. But there's too many pieces for it, and nobody ever wants to play Monopoly. Top five Rey moments: when she makes bread, and the bread rises, and she eats it. I'm like, oh, she's lonely.
I just assume that like that bread was like Cheddar Bay lobster, the Red Lobster biscuits.
Yeah, that's what it totally is. Like. It totally is. I loved after the movie came out, the obsession with how they did that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's what bread does.
Yeah. It rose.
Oh my God.
But that was like, no one cared about anything else. They're like, how did the bread go?
My number 5 is going to be controversial because it's what divided a whole galaxy of fans. The lightsaber toss scene between Rey and Luke Skywalker. It's something that bridges both movies, which was cool. Kind of like the first time we've really seen that. So in a Star Wars movie, because there's always time in between. But yeah, I like that scene because like screw it, like it was a bold move and they should have followed up on it.
They did follow up. The whole movie was
no, after the movie.
Well, they did. She threw the lightsaber, and he said, "Why are you throwing your lightsaber? Respect it."
Oh yeah, I guess. But you know what I mean.
My thing with that is just the execution of it.
Mm-hmm.
Why did the music have to like swell up and stop like a Looney Tunes cartoon? Number 4, when she fights Kylo Ren on Murder Planet, as you call it, in the Force Awakens.
That is pretty sweet.
It looks, at that scene though, it's like this scene's kind of whatever, but like, I mean, it's a fun scene, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it just looks good, and it's on Hoth, but not Hoth, and it's snowy, and the lights from the lightsabers are shining on the snow. It's just I just like it. It's fun.
Yeah. My number 4 is probably gonna be her piloting the Millennium Falcon, or no, sorry. Chewie's piloting the Millennium Falcon, but she's like blasting TIE fighters out of the sky in Last Jedi as they arrive to sort of save the day on Crate. That's so cool. I just love it.
I would call that the forgotten scene.
Yeah.
It's like the point of the movie that no one talks about it. It's super awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
But no one talks about it. Yeah, but no one talks about it. It's like, like, because
She shoots like 3 TIE fighters out of the sky at the same time.
Yeah, it's probably a better Rey moment than my number 3 is Praetorian Guards, and that's the part that I always like think of in The Last Jedi. But that scene that you mentioned is like it's so good, and I just watched it when I watched it. We talked about it, and then I watched it after we talked about it too. That scene is just really good. It's a lot of fun. That's what you want to see the Falcon do. But my number 3 is Praetorian Guards because how can I have a list that has anything to do with the sequels without the Praetorian Guards in it?
Exactly. My number 3 is her hearing the voices of all the fallen Jedi that help her vanquish Palpatine. As much as like shoehorning Palpatine into that series and that movie was very weird. That part was really cool. I like that idea that they're like, oh, here's all these voices. I love that the lower thirds, not the lower thirds, the captaining said who was talking, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And it's just like, it's a good way if they do not continue some kind of story that goes with these other movies. It's a good way to end it, where it's like all those people that were important are still relevant at the end. So,
yeah, absolutely. How do you feel about the voices? Would you have preferred to see their ghosts there, or are you good with
no? Because Force Ghosts, like, I'd argue they haven't really been good ever. I guess I don't know. I mean, did we get Qui-Gon Jinn? Yeah, at the end of Obi-Wan, we get Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, we do, which was after Rise of Skywalker. My thing is, I was always disappointed, but then also the first time Obi-Wan comes back as a Force ghost, it's just his voice. Mm-hmm. So maybe whatever. Yeah. I don't know what the reasoning was, but I think also you look back on A New Hope, obviously for reasons, but Obi-Wan is just his voice. And my number 2 is I'm gonna rhyme. My number 2 is The Garbage Will Do. When the first time we see the Falcon, she's running, she goes, "Not that's garbage. Okay, the garbage will do." I like that moment.
Yeah, that's my number 2 as well. It's like, and also it's like, who's gonna fly it? Me. Like, where's our pilot? Like that whole interaction between her and Finn is awesome.
It's really good. A lot of fun. And my number 1 is the end of The Rise of Skywalker when she turns on that yellow lightsaber, and I'm like, give me more.
I was gonna say number 1, her fighting Kylo on Murder Planet, but I'm gonna change it to that because like that truly, like, it's amazing. Like one little scene, and you're like, oh, I can't watch any more of this movie, and you're like, I am back in. So yeah, the walking into the twin suns with her lightsaber,
and that's when she becomes Rey. She's full Rey. Yeah. This is who she was destined to be. All right, those are our top 5. Let us know what your top 5 Rey moments are in the comments down below. And that'll do it, Brock, for the 273rd episode of the Rebel Scum podcast. Anything else you want to say?
If you like pizza, you gotta hit up Brazilian Pizza Party on TikTok and Instagram. Just search it. James here. He makes homemade. John Wick. He makes homemade pizzas. So go out there and support him. We already know Desi does because I heard about it first through Desi's social media, and then like an hour later, it's like he knew. I found out. It's like, but it's great. James loves pizza, and the passion comes through. Go support him. Come on, he'll talk like an Italian man on the video.
Hey, all right, all right. Thanks. Okay,
don't worry.
All right, let's wrap it up. 273. Give us a like and subscribe and all that. Brock, thanks. This was fun. And you were always Scum.
Rebel Scum.
Hey, scumbags. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.